Welcome to aminacademy.com. Let us discuss about tragic life stories of scientists. In that, we'll discuss about Alexander Graham Bell. Bell was a Scottish-born American scientist and inventor, most famous for his pioneering work on the development of the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell was born 3rd March 1847 in Edinburgh and educated there and in London. His father and grandfather were both authorities on elocution, and at the age of 16, Bell himself began researching the mechanics of speech. In 1870, Bell emigrated with his family to Canada, and the following year he moved to the United States to teach. There he pioneered a system called visible speech developed by his father to teach deaf mute children. In 1872, Bell founded a school in Boston to train teachers of the deaf. The school subsequently became part of the Boston University, where Bell was appointed professor of vocal physiology. In 1873, he became a naturalized US citizen in 1882. Bell had long been fascinated by the idea of transmitting speech, and by 1875 had come up with a simple receiver that could turn electricity into sound. Others were working along the same lines, including Italian American Antonio Meucci, and debate continued as to who should be credited with inventing the telephone. However, Bell was granted a patent for the telephone on 7 March in 1876, and it developed quickly within a year, and first telephone exchange was built in Connecticut, and the Bell Telephone Company was created in 1877, with Bell the owner of the third of the shares, quickly making him a wealthy man. In 1880, Bell was awarded a French Volta Prize for his invention, and with the money, founded the Volta Laboratory in Washington, where he continued experiments in communication, in medical research, and in techniques for teaching speech to the deaf, working with Helen Keller among others. In 1885, he acquired land in Nova Scotia and established a summer home where he continued experiments, particularly in the field of aviation. In 1888, Bell was one of the founding members on the National Geographic Society, and served as its president from 1896 to 1904, also helping to establish its journal. Bell died in 2nd August 1922 and his home in Nova Scotia. Now we'll further discuss about the interesting story about Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell's life was marked by several tragedies, including deaths of his brothers and deaths of his newborn son. Bell's younger brother died of tuberculosis in 1867, and his older brother died on the same diseases in 1870. Bell himself likely contracted a mild form of tuberculosis. Bell's newborn son Edward died from respiratory problems in 1881. In response, Bell designed a metal vacuum jacket to help with breathing, which was a forerunner to the iron lung used to treat polio victims in 1950s. In 1870, Bell's parents moved the family to Brantford, Ontario, Canada, in search of a healthier climate. The move was intended to be a 2-year trial period. The family's home in Brantford is now the Bell Homestead National Historic Site. Bell's father had also experienced a debilitating illness earlier in life, but was restored to health by convalescence in Newfoundland. Alexander Graham Bell, best known for his invention of the telephone, revolutionized communication as we know it. His interest in sound technology was deep rooted and personal, as both his wife and mother were deaf. While there is some controversy over whether Bell was the true pioneer of the telephone, he secured exclusive rights to the technology and launched the Bell Telephone Company in 1877. Ultimately, the talented scientist held more than 18 patents for his inventions and work in communications. Initially, Bell's education consisted of homeschooling. Bell did not excel academically, but he was a problem solver from an early age. When he was just 12, the younger Alexander invented a device with rotating paddles and nail brushes that could quickly remove husks from the wheat grain to help improve for a farming process. At age 16, Bell began studying the mechanics of the speech. He went on to attend Royal High School and the University of Edinburgh. In 1870, Bell, along with his family, moved to Canada. The following year, he settled in the United States. While in the United States, Bell implemented the system his father developed to teach deaf children called visible speech, a set of symbols that represented speech sound. In 1872, he opened the School of Vocal Psychology, Physiology and Mechanics of Speech in Boston, where deaf people were taught to speak. At age 26, the budding inventor became professor of vocal physiology and elocution at the Boston University School of Oratory. Even though he did not have a university degree, while teaching, Bell met Mabel Hubbard, a deaf student. The couple married on July 11, 1877. They went to have four children, including two sons and who died as infants. In 1871, Bell started working on the harmonic telegraph, a device that allowed multiple messages to be transmitted over a wire at the same time. While trying to perfect this technology, which was backed by a group of investors, Bell became preoccupied with finding a way to transmit human voice over wires. By 1875, Bell, with the help of his partner Thomas Watson, had come up with a simple receiver that could turn electricity into sound. Other scientists, including Antonio Meucci and Elisha Gray, were working on similar technologies, and there is some debate over who should be credited with the invention of the telephone. It's said that Bell raced to the patent office to be the first to secure the rights to the discovery. On March 7, 1876, Bell was granted his telephone patent. A few days later, he made the first ever telephone call to Watson, allegedly uttering the now famous phrase, Mr. Watson, come here, I want you. This is the first phrase that is talked by Bell to his friend Watson by phone. This is there's the code here. Mr. Watson, come here, I want you. Legal headaches. The inventor, based on nearly 20-year legal battle with other scientists, including Gray and Meucci, who claimed they created telephone prototypes prior to Bell's patent. In 1887, the US government moved to withdraw the patent issued to Bell, but after a series of rulings, the Bell Company won in a Supreme Court decision. While the Bell Company faced over 550 court challenges, in the end, none were successful. Now, we'll talk about some inventions and accomplishments of Bell. In addition to the Bell worked on hundreds of projects throughout his career and receives patent in various fields. Some of his other notable inventions were a metal detector. Bell initially came up with this device to locate a bullet inside of assassinated presidents of James Garfield. The photophone allowed the transmission of speech on a beam of light. The gramophone, this improved version of the phonograph, could record and play back sound. Audiometer, this gadget was used to detect hearing problems. In 1880, Bell was awarded the French Volta Prize, and with that money, he founded a facility devoted to scientific discovery, the Volta Laboratory in Washington, D.C. Bell invented numerous techniques to help teach speech to the deaf and even worked with the well-known author and activist Helen Keller. He also helped launch science magazines and from 1896 to 1904 served as a president of the National Geographic Society. The famous quotes by Bell. While Bell is typically known for what he invented, he is also remembered for what he said and wrote. Some famous quotes attributed to Bell include: when one door closes, another door opens, but we so often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed doors that we do not see the ones which open for us. Next one, a man's own judgment should be the final appeal in all that relates to himself. Before anything, before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to focus. Next one, great discoveries and improvements invariably involve the cooperation of many minds. The most successful men in the end are those whose success is the result of steady accretion. The only difference between success and failure is the ability to take action. You can't force ideas. Successfully, ideas are the result of slow growth. The inventor looks upon the world and is not contented with things as they are. He wants to improve whatever he sees. He wants to benefit the world. He is haunted by an idea. The spirit of invention possesses him, seeking materialization. Death and legacy of Bell. Bell died on August 2, 1922 at the age of 75 in Nova Scotia, Canada. The cause of his death was complications from diabetes. He was survived by his wife and two daughters. During Bell's funeral, every phone in North America was silenced to pay tribute to the inventor. Today, the famous scientist is remembered for his groundbreaking work in sound technology and improving education for the deaf. His best known invention, the telephone, forever changed the way humans communications with each other. So far, we discussed about the story of Graham Bell.